some kind of balcony here. Maybe something like that. Maybe that's already too big, I don't know. But that seems appropriate. Okay, so let's see if this... We want to continue that probably. Hello there! Welcome in. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be new community center once it's done. Okay, well that should give us some support for now. So first of all, let's try to see if we can connect those up. That doesn't leave us with a lot of space. Maybe if we do it like that, it could work. Hello there, David. Welcome in, welcome in. All right, so the idea is that the staircase is going to go down here to like the main entrance. So I think that works. I mean, using the shallow stairs, of course, does mean it takes a lot longer to get anywhere, but I just always prefer that look a little bit. And I guess we can kind of... It doesn't have to be an exact replica in all sense. Like, in some ways, I don't mind doing things a little bit differently. I think if I use the big wall, that might actually help. Because I've been using the small ones. But for all of this, we can probably just go and use these. Saves a lot of time. There we go. There we go. So we can just kind of fill in the sides here of the staircase. But yeah, I think I'll definitely stick with the less steep ones because, I don't know, something feels way more natural about those. Okay, let's fill that section in for now. So we probably want to bring this down by 2 more. Do we want to do much more than that? I mean, this is kind of where we would want to have the main entrance, I think. So maybe bringing it down much further wouldn't really help. Although, there might now be a completely different snap. I guess that is kind of the middle. We do need more support. Yeah, we're building a castle. We're trying to finish it today if we can. That would be really nice, but we will see. There we go. We'll fill in some of these larger supports. Okay, let's get these supports out a little bit further for now. See if we can get some more supports for here. I feel like we probably need to actually connect them back up to the ground. There we go. That's probably what we need to give more support to the whole build. There we go. At least we can fill this section in. That should be that. We can also fill that in. That is kind of the middle. We need to more of that castle, which would be quite nice. Why is it not placing? There we go. So yeah, this is, I guess, where the wall is going to continue. So probably we kind of want to build these down until where we can have some supports for the wall here. There we go. Kind of prefer to keep it on the right snap points so it doesn't get too messy. That should be enough to get that wall forward. And then this is probably where we want to build the entrance, because we don't need a lot of space here. Because we wouldn't really need it for anything, so I think we just kind of want to fill in these spots. There we go. Place in some of the walls, and we'll have a little bit of these little corners, I guess, that we eventually will have to fill up with some nice details. But I think I like the stairs over here quite nicely. I think that works, going into the castle like that. We're probably just gonna have like the main front wall here. And then I guess this is kind of a little bit of a viewpoint as well, this side. So what I might actually do, just to enhance it a little bit, is maybe make it stick out like that. Just to make it a little bit more special, right? And a little less flat. I feel like that could really work. Do we want to do this all the way? Maybe we do, actually. Just bring that all the way there. Do I go all the way here? Maybe not, because there's kind of a build in the way there. Which, yeah, just adds a little bit more shape to this side, because we're not really going to have a building on this side. This is going to just be an overview of the valley, since it's so high up. I think that would be fine. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, then we probably just add these around. Awesome. We probably continue that over there. And over here. We'll see what we do on this side exactly once we have the actual gate, but yeah, I feel most of this is just going to be going on like that. So we have this. What's the difference between... What's the difference between this and that? I don't know. What is the difference? I don't know if there's a difference. I mean, it probably is. I don't see a difference though. Seem to both work fine. Oh yeah, these pieces are great. Castle building has never been better. There we go. So yeah, that feels like a nice way to get the stairs down. Okay, so we want some extra support here, I think. Oh, it's all a little bit different with different gaps. So I guess this whole thing isn't necessarily the same snap point. Because there's also height difference in those things. So somewhere something went wrong. But now that it's connected, we have support again. So that's all that really matters. All right. We have the big keep gates, which is, I guess, what we want to start with. But wait, that was the middle that I kind of want to preserve, right? Which would then be this. So that means I kind of want to have this placement over here. Okay, thank you, game. Maybe about that high. That seems appropriate. And we do have a little room in here to play around with. To kind of create like a nice space for some details and everything. There we go. Yeah, we could have like a little statue there. I think that's fine. I think we kind of would have a little bit of a balcony or something going on there, and then we would have that one little rounded tower on each corner, I think. Which means we can have these pillars coming down. And then we want to use some of these small pieces. Okay, let's just place them for all the snap points, I suppose, because now there should be a snap point in there. Well, not quite sure why it wouldn't let me place it there. But hopefully it will. I guess I could just kind of remove it for a second and then just place it again. There we go. So yeah, this is just going to be like a small little addition to it all, which we should be able to get some nice supports going for, except that's always a little bit tricky. So maybe if we place one of those pieces in there, we can kind of use those snap points again to do the underside for this and create a nice little turret for the castle. go. All right. So yeah, for here, I think we kind of go with those. And kind of just go like that. Just as a little entrance support. I think that's quite nice. We probably then just bring these up to where we started. There we go. The extra structures they brought in, like shallow stairs. Shallow stairs we don't have, right? Or if you mean vanilla structures. If you're using ASR pieces since the newest update, I think that's what's turning your skins around, maybe. But no, I've not had any issues, actually. There we go. So yeah, that's gonna be like a little entrance. Then we will have like one more wall. I think potentially we already want this. It's probably about right. So I'll have these and those be normal. Yeah, CKF is amazing. If you want to build castles, like this is the way to go. It's so good. Okay. So maybe one more of those up there. There we go. So yeah, we're kind of just trying to get the build structure. So I'm gonna have this square pillar for this part, just to go for a different look than on the front part of the building. There we go. Probably also want to use those here, and I kind of think I might want to use those there to kind of bring a little bit of extra detail in that part of the build. I think we'd want to have like a small entrance in the middle probably, and then some room for windows. Of course we have slightly uneven pieces here, but luckily there's so many pieces in CKF that there's always a nice way to fill it all back in. But yeah, I think going for those windows probably works quite well there. And I think if we go for this one, this is not a skin, this is a mod CKF, and this is on Ragnarok. Alright, so I think here on the front at least, I want to raise those sections a little bit higher. Then here on the side, I probably just want to go 3 wide. And then we're going to have something Like this, potentially. Nope. Need to pick the right ones. So yeah, we'll have those. Actually, maybe we won't have these. We would just have the sloped gables there. But then we would also have these in here. So that we have some reinforced section. I think that looks quite cool. All right, so the same here. Bring out these walls by 3. Then we could just have the roofs here in the middle. And then some battlements around the outside. There we go. Quite like the look of that. Then I guess it's best to raise up these areas a bit. Right, I feel like that fits. Maybe something like that. Yeah, I think that works. And then we can start on the roof. Probably just a normal roof. That's not really working, and they need to smoothly fit into the rest of the walls. I do think maybe one more smaller window. Or maybe that one, actually. That could be nice. And then they should all just meet in the middle at the top. There we go. So that's the, like, entrance building. And there we go. I think that's what we do. Okay, so then on top of those... Oh no, that can be a full pillar because it's a full pillar higher. Continue those up there. I think that works. And then of course we still need to finish the rest of this building because right now it's maybe slightly confusing, but I think up here at least we can just have 2 walls going on like that. And then over here at the front, kind of just want to follow that same shape. There we go. Kind of just want to... Oh, we're going to lose foundation support again. We're going to have to expand it all a little bit more. Oh, we're almost there. But yeah, let's just be sure about this and bring out the foundations a little further here in the front. There we go. Because basically we're going to build something very similar here on the other side, because the gate's just going to be the same on both sides. So that's kind of what we want to work on. So yeah, those walls are just normal walls. Then of course we have those. There we go. That should help us get this wall started again. Awesome. And I guess we have this pillar go up all the way. Bring up this pillar too, all the way to the top. Kind of feels like a little window or something would be quite nice here. I'm sure we'll figure out something for the roof. But kind of feels appropriate to have those. And then of course we'll have these around those sides as well. There we are. Okay. Then we just do that. We have the round window there in the middle, and then we should be able to fill in the rest of this roof already. What's going on sometimes? Not letting me place things. There we go. Then here, of course, I think we probably just started with those two walls. And then probably those. We definitely have a door there in the middle. And then two windows here. I also think that we probably want a beam under those windows at least. This window is also not fitting in nicely. There we go. When you place a flag, you can rotate it. And I'm using the mod. I'm not using a cosmetic. I'm using the proper mod. But then you can rotate it after placing it the first time. That's how you do it. Alright. So we have these along those edges. Adding some nice detail in there. Adding that. Yeah, we're getting there. Time to finish the roof, I think, before we do anything else. Okay, let's see. Probably we can start with at least this. Like, start simple. And kind of all we need is just a small little shape like that on the top. Which I guess also means that we have the same little small shape here. I think that works. And then we take out these pieces. And we got some little additions to the roof. I think that works very well. Adds in a nice little bit of detail. And then of course we can finish these with the remaining details that we want. Adding those. And we also want to make sure that we add these. Are we kind of going to a little less steep, maybe? I was kind of like doing that. There we go. Feels like we're getting close to building a nice entrance. Of course, this is the layer where we just have a little balcony going across the front. There we go. Yeah, I guess we kind of just need to build the same front as we did over there. So we kind of want to change this main layout here. Make sure that we have a proper center for the build. Then we should be able to add in an entrance. And in this entrance, we actually want to make sure we have a proper door. I guess we could have one there too, but kind of like keeping it open. Oh yeah, the more you build, the more you learn, and especially with a mod like CKF where there's so many options, you definitely need to give yourself some time to explore and really embrace all the possibilities that it has, because it has a lot of them. There we go. So we kind of just mirror what we did on the previous side. Just going around. Creating a little spot for like a statue or a little detail in there. I think that works quite nice. And then of course we want to also start with the pillars, but now we want the round pillars again. For this again. And then just making sure we add them all in. I kind of don't need the last one, I think. Maybe probably we should leave that out. We can actually take those away here from the inside, because they don't really serve any purpose. And then we keep the overlap and collisions to a minimum. But that is quite a nice entrance. Of course, we're going to work with painting structures different colors, which was going to transform this look as well. Then I think basically the sides are gonna have those doors, which means we can kind of go onto the walls, I think. Which kind of just means that, yeah, there's going to be like a betterment walkway going on that we can enter from there. So for now, we're just going to do a few like that before we figure out the whole build. Which in the end is just going to be starting over here, probably 3 wide. Yeah, probably 3 wide. Let's go for 3 wide for now. Gonna need some more foundation support on that corner at least. Yeah, because that probably works. And then, I mean, we do have a little bit of space to work with here. So first of all, I think these first layers, nothing too special. Maybe this layer actually would be something. Because then we could have another layer of nothing. And then up here, of course, it's already slightly different. Because at least at that top layer, we're not going to change much. Maybe... There we go, all the way to the top. Well, let's see, because this is going to destroy things as well, probably. Okay, so that one can go all the way to the top, and then this one we can just bring back like that. And then for some reason we've also lost the one here at this end. So we just want to add that back in. No, no worries, Mike. Glad to help. Always glad to help. Yeah, that's looking quite nice. This whole thing is gonna get a paint job as well to kind of transform it even more. But for now, I'm mostly concerned about, you know, getting all the shapes in the right spot. Which I think is important enough for now. There we go. So yeah, those the same structure is kind of what we want to go for. So that would be 3 walls, of course, here. And now we could do the exact same thing here, I think. Right, because we could just have those. And then this layer is just going to be the same. And then we want those in between. I guess we want these one up here. There we go. Awesome. So yeah, that's kind of the structure here. That's kind of all we need, because then we're going to have some nice towers as well. But then this side is actually going to be slightly different. Why did that? See, if I take away something here, it just falls down on the other side, which is very, very weird. I guess we kind of just want some extra support up here. I'm not quite sure what's going on or why, but yeah, this pillar has once again disappeared. I mean, I guess we could now try and bring these walls back down so it has a connection maybe to a foundation. That might be nice. This one is going slightly over the edge, which you know, problematic. Okay. Well, those 2 pods we'll figure out with what we do there. I guess we could probably use some JVH to save my life there. Extend the rock a little bit. Because they just added new Ragnaroks. There we go. That should give some more support. Makes it all a little bit easier. All right, so from this side here, that would be where the wall would be. And I think that is kind of the wall we want to continue on. So it wouldn't even be all that. It would be more like this. Just like that. There we go. Okay, so this has kind of made it back to supports, which is good. Making sure my castle doesn't crumble down. And then this is where the courtyard would end. There we go. So yeah, this is like a too wide gap, which is I think what we want to use for the rest of this. So kind of means we bring that up, and then we can bring this across. That's kind of how far we need it to be. Hey? Okay. Oh, they do all stay. That's a surprise. There we go. So we fill in those corners, and then we should just be able to bring this back again. I think that's going to work a little bit better because just stands out a little bit more going up like that, because otherwise it was way too flat. You couldn't really see it from a distance. This feels a bit more appropriate, which is good. So that makes a corner here that protects this castle once we finish it. Means we have a similar kind of thing going on over here, but there's a slight difference on this side. This wall won't continue, like this won't go around the corner and line up there. So all we really need to do is just kind of go around like that. So I think we'll finish this side first before we do the other one. And there we go. Ends up with a pretty nice castle. Now, in the real castle, there's not really much detail going on this side, but I think we'll probably at least have like a little window or something going on here. Feels appropriate. So I think we're just going to do something very similar as with the other walls. Kind of repeating that process. I think I had the smaller windows on that layer. And then adding all those in. There we go. Yeah, there's so many pieces in this mod. When you first start building with it, it's a little bit much. You definitely need to spend a decent amount of time with it before you get like a little bit more confident in all of the options available. All right, I'm just gonna... Oh, that doesn't even line up with the stairs. So I guess we can build that in. All right, not much of a problem because we kind of only have to fill in what we see. That corner works perfectly there. That's not too much of an issue. This, however, this is a little bit of an issue, but we'll get there. We are starting to get to the end with this build. So yeah, we do have a little gap here, which we can fill in. There we go. And then we probably just want to go and fill in these little pieces too, so that the inside has a floor and has no gaps anymore. That's pretty nice. We do also need to fill in this side, of course. So that's a few more pieces to finish this all. The staircase, but shouldn't be too difficult. And I guess we just want to kind of continue the battlements that we had, because I mean, might as well stick with the same vibe. Means we need a few of those. There we go. Think that's gonna look quite castle-y. There we are. Definitely need to dress up that area, but we are feeling like we have a castle now. We almost have the entrance. We have a core chart that's now complete. Oh, of course, didn't place. There we go. We have a core chart that's complete. That's very nice. I love that core chart. And then we just need to finish that wall, and then we can clean up the front and finish that. We have a little gap here. There we go. If when I make the video of this, I probably should have a picture in here showing the actual real life castle as well. Actually been to this castle a few times, so it's quite fun to now replicate it in ARK. Guess we don't need it there. Okay, so we can keep those going. Oh yeah, I guess that means we can just do that until here. Okay, well, we'll just kind of match the same kind of vibe that we've used so far. Should not be too much of an issue. Which means that this is going to be like small windows. There we go. Up here it means we have one more layer of this before we get these going. So a bunch of windows here should get us pretty far. And then of course we want those extra arches in here as well. There we go. And I think for this, I mean, we kind of just want a wall, I think. There's not much more that we can do there. There go. But of course over here, it's a little bit different again. We can go ahead. Just add all those in. And we should be able to just add in all those windows as well. Wait a second. I guess we wanted to start with this wall to keep it the same as the others, right? And I guess technically also this would first have one here. Because technically this is kind of where that first build ends, right? Like the starter building. So maybe we want to just kind of continue that. Just to slightly separate them. There we go. I think that's what we want to do. I think that should line up now. There we go. Means we can have those filled in. That does fill in the castle. Okay, well, let's get some JV8s in here. See if we can fix some things, because we now should have Ragnaroks. Look at that, which kind of fit the landscape that we have here, so we can probably figure out a nice way to fix this corner. Which of course is going to help us. No snap point. Oh, do I need to start lower? Okay. So I'm basically trying to build out the cliff a little bit. There we go. Feel like we're getting somewhere. We're just building ourselves a little cliffside here. There we go. No one would know. No one will know. That kind of saves my the side of my castle, and I could actually use that for some more of these where it oh geez, these rocks are really big, aren't they? Oh god. Maybe this one would be a little bit more appropriate. There we go. So just some little edges, you know, that we can kind of integrate into the landscape that way. All right, so this means we now have our entrance. And we want to start a staircase down, I suppose. Which, I mean, can't really curve it too much, because then again we're gonna have the same issue. So I think we're gonna just have a staircase coming down the side. That's probably gonna end up being the easiest. And also, hopefully the one with the least amount of extra structures needed. There we go. Okay, maybe we do a little something there. Depends, because around the corner we could of course kind of curl around a little bit more. So maybe we do this. Or do we try to get a little bit more of a rounded shape in there? Because we could do. Yeah, I don't know. That feels maybe even weirder. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably just wanna keep this going a bit further, aren't we? Okay, we're gonna need more supports. We're gonna need to bring these out a bit further. There we go. So I guess we kind of do another one of those. And then maybe we split up this staircase. Just giving myself some more options there. Okay. I guess that does mean that this one is going to go way further again, right? Yeah. Because it's a steep landscape that we decided to build a castle on, but that's fine. We can work with that. There we go. Maybe that's a bit too much because this landscape is going down way further. So maybe we just rotate it around like that, and that's going to be the one and only. Feels like that is probably the way to go. Probably gonna just go with some of these larger walls. There we go. Yeah, that just saves a lot, these bigger pieces, to kind of just fill in the gaps. There we go. Got some of this structure going. There we go. Well, we'll just keep these going like normal for now, but yeah, we'll dress it up, of course, with some nice no, that's not the one, that's this one actually. Let's for now just make sure that we bring those pillars all down, just because it looks a bit nicer if we do. And I guess we also want to bring that one down, because technically there is a little gap there, but maybe we just kind of fill in that gap, because otherwise it's going to be a bit awkward, isn't it? Like maybe we just go for this being a little bit wider on here. Because we could. That just means that this is changing a little bit. maybe that's not such a bad thing. There we go. All right. Now we just need to cover up the sides and then, of course, finish up all the little details. But yeah, that just removes having that one little awkward corner, and actually having a slightly wider stairs is not too bad. It's a big castle after all. Okay, let's fill in those segments. That's not really helpful right now. We kind of just need to fill in these walls as best as we can. I think that's probably it. And then we fill in those gaps. There we go. So that's the whole staircase filled in. And then we can add some more battlements, of course, because that already will help making this feel much nicer. And I think I still want to go for battlements rather than the railings. Just to go for the more castle-y vibes. Oh, that's fun. No foundation support. That will hopefully solve it. There we go. Awesome. And then I guess we just fill in these parts. And there we go. Which one do we want to do? Probably round one. Feels pretty nice for these. There we go. That is a way in and onto the castle. Means we can also get rid of all the signs now, since it's the castle's here. It's hard to miss now. Start making blueprints of your tech structures. I just did one. It's on my Discord. But the problem with a lot of my tech builds is that they're way too big. So they require a lot of parts and a lot of work. So, you know. And I have way too many builds. That is another problem. And the template system doesn't work great. Another problem. Alright, let's see. We have an entrance. We definitely need a lot of painting, but I probably won't do that on stream just because it will just take me a lot of time to go through it all and decide the right colors and everything. But for now, steep roof stone is what we want. So we can get some of these supports in place. There we go. Probably not going to go any further than that, because otherwise that would be a little bit awkward. But that still gives some support to the castle. Which kind of means that over here we want to go for this corner. And then we will kind of just fill in the gaps of it all. And it does not make it look great. Like this kind of needs to stick out further, that rock maybe. To cover that all off. Alright, let's see. That works. Yeah, so in the ideal world, I want to kind of place a rock here that covers up most of this. There we go. That looks pretty nice. We probably want to have another one there because that kind of sticks through. There we go. There we go. I think we're definitely looking at a castle now. Of course, I'll need to do some more decorating and the painting and everything, but we can in fact have a little guided tour. So this is how people will get here. You know, walk up to the castle, get up the stairs, and open the doors to Neuschwanstein. I guess it wanted to do it the other way. So I have a big room here. I'm not sure what I'll do with all these rooms because I don't need that much space for the community center, but we'll figure something out. We have a nice little courtyard that will probably have like some fountains and stuff like that going on as details. Then we have a staircase going up to the main courtyard with the giant tower as well. I really like the feeling of this main courtyard, and it's big enough, and especially with these pieces, so that people could land bigger flies as well. Like you could park wyverns and dragons out here. We have a giant tower that I'm not sure what we'll use it for. We have, I think this I'm going to mostly use as some kind of place to park your tames safely, because we have the big archers in there. So I'm just going to assume that this is where people park their tames if they visit, or they just want to have a safe place to log out if they maybe don't have their own base. This I might make the adoption center, where people can come and adopt dinos that people have left. So then we already have a purpose for this, a purpose for that. Not really sure what I need that tower for. And then I think the main castle is just going to be where there's like free crafting space. There's going to be the donations, so people that want to donate the stuff that they don't need anymore, blueprints they don't need anymore, we'll probably have in here. But it would also serve you as a really cool base if you want to go full medieval. I mean, there's so many places in this. Because you could, of course, add a whole another layer. I'm probably not going to do that because I'm trying to keep structure count to the minimum that I need for this build to look good. And of course, it is already a little big, a little bit of a bigger castle, but I think you could use this as a really cool base, actually. But it's going to be for the community because I could claim it as a base. That would be really fun. Just say, well, joke's on you. It's not my base. I mean, I could decide to live here, of course, I guess. There would definitely be a place for me to just be like, okay, well, this tower is going to be my home and the rest is going to be the community center. You know, that could happen. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, there's a lot here. I'm quite happy with it. So some things that I will do is probably add some statues and gargoyles and stuff like that around. Of course, we'll have some more flags and everything. Yeah, just a shark in the tower having a nap. Shark statues are definitely going to be a must. Yeah, we're just going to kind of decorate it all. Not too much, not too crazy. Because again, I want to hopefully make sure that people can still visit it even on console. But yeah, this looks great. And the paint is going to transform it. Because of course we painted the main part. But once it's all painted, like we could do a quick paint session. I'm definitely going to make changes to it. Because I'm probably going to do like custom paint regions for things. Because, for example, the gatehouse is going to be different to the rest, but just to quickly get kind of an idea of everything, I guess we could kind of do a quick paint session of things. I guess it would be easier if I start over here, right? Because then it's easier to kind of spot the pieces that I have not painted. There we go. There we go. Getting somewhere. Oh yeah. Love the look of a good, nice white castle. I guess this tower is kind of counted as its own structure, but yeah, we're gonna go for the full looks here. There we go. Oh yeah, the spider shark. Oh, I miss those times. I haven't used the Cosmo in way too long. Let's paint those. There we go. Feel like we've done a bunch of this now. And at least all the white walls are in now, I feel like. There we go. That changes the look again. Fits a little bit nicer in the landscape that way, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely play around with paint, you know, adding some details like having certain banisters and railings, beams and battlements and everything. be different colors, and of course playing around with the roofs as well, because not even all the roofs are going to be blue. Like yeah, we just kind of want to have, it's a bit sad it isn't as wide as the original. Yeah, this is the closest we can get, but the thing I do like about CKF is that the details in all the stonework stays. So if that's, you know, why it's not as wide, I think that's fine, because I'd rather have this than it turned like pure white and too white, because yeah, there's still a lot of detail in those bricks now. But this is going to be cool if you're playing on the community server and you're just, you know, hanging around or doing things in the highlands. Now there's a whole castle all of a sudden. A whole castle here to guard the way and to welcome new players into my server. There we go. Well, we're gonna at least add these, because I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer that those would be there. And then maybe even one that's like right between those windows feels right. No, I don't think pure white I would like, unless there's still some color difference between all those bricks, because I don't want the bricks to be perfect. It wouldn't be a perfect white. I still want a little bit of those details to be retained. Yeah, those banners always really help pop the colors as well. There's definitely a few spots where we could add them. Right over there feels appropriate. And then maybe over here. Just a few. Definitely once we start adding like some greenery around, some trees, some fountains and everything in the courtyard, it's really gonna come to life. But structure-wise, as a building, I think we've done it. I think we've actually managed to do it, which is really nice. There we go. That's one that was missing. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Very, very nice. So yeah, now there's just a few like minor details to do, like fixing up some of the inside of the buildings, but most of the work has been done. All right, let's quickly check out this, because, well, yeah, at least this would be a floor, right? Village ceiling is probably what we want right now. Actually, ceilings in general is probably what we could use. Let's see, because yeah, we can probably just kind of cover this all. And obviously in an actual building we would also need the staircase somewhere. But I'm not sure where we would want to add that, because there's a lot of these spaces here on the side that we could use, but that doesn't quite go all the way up there, which makes it kind of difficult, I guess. The village stairs. Well, it's probably gonna go for the smallest staircase, right? Yeah, probably something like that. That's what I would do. But yeah, then the problem is, where do you take the staircase? I guess we could just take it here. Because, I mean, technically, I guess you could just do this. Although, I think it would make more sense for that to be the level where the floor is. So what if that happened? Kind of want to have these the other way around, but for some reason it won't let me. All right, if I fill in these floors, hopefully should get something normal. I probably want to continue the staircase over there. Fill in the rest of this. I guess probably you wouldn't even do all that. You would just have the staircase going up there. There we go. Would we... Would we just have the wall there? We might have. We could do that. There we go. So yeah, we have this as a little staircase up there. We just have this as a separate room. That can be where we continue the staircase down. It's a little bit unfortunate that we have that coming in. But that is what it is. And then I guess here on the side, what would we do there? Because it's like a... So we probably could... Or at least those two layers, because we can then go for normal wall here, going across. And then utilizing these to kind of create access to the side here, which feels alright. Is that something we want to do on this side too? I mean, it does make a little bit of sense, I suppose, structure-wise. So I guess we just do that. And of course, here it's a way smaller room, but still gives a little bit more structure here to the building in the front, right? Like you have a separate room you could utilize, separate room here, but here we also want to use it as a staircase. Okay. Just gonna have to keep this all going just in time. And then, of course, dress up the staircases and etc. But that gives at least some structure and logic to this place, because now we can reach all the different rooms up here. I don't think I would make another layer. You could, if you needed it. But I think you'll probably find you'll have enough space in this castle. Let's see. In here, we've kind of already added the structure. We have this as a side room. I think I would keep this as one big room, at least for my purposes. And then this room probably wouldn't do anything either. And then we already have this staircase that we did last time, I think. Or the time before. I don't know, but we did it. There we go. All nicely supported there. Just add a little bit of detail to that corner. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the building that I would really do. I think that is what I need, at least for my needs, of course. You could do whatever you want with the interior of the castle. You could definitely turn it into something cool if you're going to use it as a base. I'm going to decorate it for the community center purposes, but I will be making a video, of course, when I've finished the decorating and the detailing of it all, as well as I'll try to cut together all the different streams of me building it if you want to follow along to maybe make it a little bit easier to follow. But let's be honest, it's always going to be quite a big build and a long build to try and follow and to build along with. But yeah, if you're looking to get a really cool castle, I think this could definitely work as a proper base. I think it's big enough for a proper base and not too crazy big that it gets like annoying to use. If you want to embrace the medieval theme, this could be a good one. And then maybe at some point we build like a little farm building here for the carrots, the carrot fields, to keep the carrot fields safe. But maybe not. I don't want to build too close and ruin the spawns, because that's exactly why we're not building here, like where we have the sign there. Keep the carrots around. All right, I think that's going to be it for today's stream. That was really cool. I really enjoyed this castle, and I'm very happy that I managed to finish it, because we've been going with this one for a while because I had so many different builds popping up in between. But now we finally finished it, so I'll be working on getting the final videos for this one finished too, so that we can have a good overview of the finished product once I've done all the painting, all the detailing and decorating it. But at that point you can also actually visit it, because this will be, well, this is on my community cluster, this is on the community server, so you can always hop on and just come and check this out. I think at some point I'll actually add a spawn point here where you can just spawn right at the community center, so you don't have to even, you know, try and survive, because it can be sometimes a little bit hostile in these lands. But as you can see right now, very peaceful, nothing to worry about. Anyway guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course feel free to leave suggestions for future builds in the comments below. If you want to join my server, the easiest way is to join my Discord, because all the information you need to join and the rules, etc., are on there, and should be a link to my Discord in the description. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you soon.